So the first question I have for you, really simple and straightforward. Can you talk a little bit about your career journey in the paper industry?
Sure. I hate to admit it, but I started in the paper industry 35 years ago. So I'm starting my 36th year this year. And I actually never wanted to be in the paper business. My father was in and still is in the paper business. My grandfather on my mother's side, my great grandfather, it was an industry that a lot of our family was involved with. So being the teenager and right out of college that I said, never, I'm not going to do that. But ended up with a really nice opportunity to join Nina Paper, which back in the day was part of Kimberly Clark, in a entry-level sales position, and just fell in love with it. And those products are really beautiful colors and textures and that type of thing. So I really have a sales and marketing type background. I was with Kimberly Clark for about 20 years in sales and marketing capacities. I did make it to the away from home tissue side of the business for a couple of years with Kimberly Clark. So that was a nice departure from fine paper, and then had an opportunity to actually move back home to Southern California. One of our large customers was retiring and asked if I would be interested in going into the distribution side of the business. Up until then, I was on the manufacturing side. So I've been with Kelly and Spicer's since 2007. And absolutely have had a wonderful time. It's definitely a different perspective than being on the manufacturing side. But, every role that I've had in the paper industry has taught me something different. But the one thing in common, I think, is just it's such a great relationship industry. And the people you meet and the people you come into contact with are friends for your entire career. So I love that about the paper industry.
So when did you begin serving on the board for NPTA?
It was in 2016, I believe.
Okay. And what were some of the critical career milestones that led you to becoming the first woman chair of NPTA? I know you don't want us to play it up, but I think it's cool and super important. So I guess the question's kind of twofold. So what drove you to be part of the NPTA board? And then obviously what led you to become the first woman chair of NPTA?
Well, I think that, as I said, the relationships that you develop in the paper industry over many, many years really prompt you and want you to serve and do your best to promote the industry and move the industry along. So I think probably the biggest milestone was when we were acquired in 2012 by Central National Gottesman. And my boss, Andrew Wallach, was very involved with the board. And he suggested that it would be a good thing for me to get involved with too. So I volunteered and then have since really enjoyed working with NPTA, enjoyed sort of helping to craft the strategies and what we're going to focus on. And I'm very optimistic about our industry moving forward, although we are having our fair share of challenges right now. I'm optimistic about it, and I'm optimistic about the association really providing value to the membership going forward. So.
What are some of your planned initiatives as chairwoman of the NPTA board?
Well, it's going to be an interesting year. We have 4 really consistent planks that we work on, which, the initiatives change each year, but those focus areas remain the same. And they're networking, education, industry trends, making sure our membership keeps up with those, and advocacy. So networking, obviously, for this year is, our 2 big events to help that along are not going to happen until 2022, which we're really excited about. So we're really focusing on, the other areas and what value we can bring to the membership outside of networking. And, there's quite a few things. One of them is obviously PaperChain and the format change that we have there with some original content and really focusing on policy and advocacy, regulatory issues, leadership, and then the industry trends as well. So I'm really excited about the evolution of PaperChain. In terms of education, we are going to have the UID this year. It will be a virtual event. So we're hoping to really promote that and get some good participation from the membership there. It'll be a discounted membership. And then I think the thing that I'm most excited about is the Paper CEO series that we're working on right now. Which will be webinar based, since we can't be together, but discussions about the industry, roundtables, some special guests to come on, to talk about trends and that type of thing. So we're working on that, and I think, to be announced, but those should be pretty meaningful. And then finally, something that's really important to all of us is our Emerging Leaders program. This year we have 12 members on that Emerging Leaders committee. And their focus really has honed into, helping develop their leadership skills, getting them networked, further into the paper industry and people in the paper industry. And so I'm really excited about that, and helping those leaders continue to develop so that they become the leaders of tomorrow, so they can have a 35-year career.
I want to talk a little bit about like the role of the paper merchant. So, this industry is always changing. 2020 proved to bring its own set of challenges. So how do you see, based on, your experience in your career, the role of the paper merchant evolving over the course of the next few decades? And how does NPTA plan to continue to serve the needs of the merchant?
Well, I wish I had a crystal ball. I think the role of the paper merchant certainly has evolved in the last 10 years and even in the last year, with the pandemic. But, the basic premise of a paper merchant is to, have a variety of products that are available to our customers next day or even same day, picking up. And I believe there will continue to be a need for that, for the print community. But I think, it will continue to evolve. I think e-commerce will become more and more important component to what a paper merchant does. I think the merchant sales rep, their role is becoming much more of a solution provider rather than just a paper peddler, which it has been in the past. So look, I'm optimistic for our industry because I'm very optimistic about the future of print. And the role that print will continue to play in communications in the future. I just don't think that there's from what I can see right now, a good substitute for that for many applications. Certainly digital has taken over the transactional print and that type of thing. But in the commercial print world, I really believe that there's a need, and there's a future there. It will evolve, and we'll move into other areas. But as long as there's a future in print, there should be a future for a paper merchant, because printers need product, whether it's packaging product, paper, they need it in their markets, and deal with people in their markets locally, either the same day or the next day. And especially, and I have that perspective, especially because we're on the West Coast, so we're a little bit further away from mills, and our customers are very used to and expect that next day service. So providing them that, and providing a variety of products, and knowledgeable salespeople that offer solutions and are involved with the success of their business, I think will be the key moving forward, and the key to being successful moving forward.
And I think the second part of that was NPTA specifically. You're in the position of the chairwoman of the board. So how will NPTA's initiatives directly serve the end goal of the merchant, which is, long term, to continue to exist, but also to sort of thrive in the industry and continue to deliver that excellent service?
Yeah, well, look, I think those planks that we've had to focus on will be as important today as they will be 10 years, 20 years from now. Networking is incredibly important, and building relationships is very much a relationship driven industry. Information, trends in the business. If you've got that information, you can be a great resource to your customers. And that's really critical. Making sure that we're keeping our customers up to speed and up to date, and be a resource to them. There's going to be a lot more opportunities for advocacy, with regulations, and that will continue, certainly. And then educating and making sure that our emerging leaders are feeling good about the industry coming forward, and are armed and equipped to take it to the next level and take it into the next decade. So I think the planks that we have in NPTA, although the initiatives will change, will continue to be relevant, and provide value for the membership going forward.